works. Like, my brother, if you're a high value man and you're giving yourself up to a low value woman in your eyes, in your estimation, right? You see her as a 304, that's what they call them nowadays. You're willing to have that physical exchange, that energy exchange with her. And somehow in your head, you've reached the conclusion that that's brag worthy. Like, come on, my brother, who won? She was able to have a moment with somebody who's higher value than her. And you stooped down to her level and had that exchange of energy and got intimate with her. You're the sucker, my brother.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Just Know podcast, where we make knowledge your strongest weapon.
What's up, folks? As always, it's a pleasure to have you guys back. We hope everyone is doing well. Your boy Just over there, your boy Nas over here. Today we're going to have some fun, talking shit about our fellow men, or hopefully encouraging them and bringing some positivity, some encouragement to their life.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about the different tendencies of a man and the aspects of their life in which they should improve, and what tells them or what tells you about a certain person through their actions. So the first thing that we should talk about is the people that man has around them. It could tell you a lot. It could tell you probably almost everything about that man, because what they always say is that you are who you are around.
Yeah, absolutely. To get a little bit more detailed, take a deeper dive into that element of a man's life. One thing, and I can speak for all men that have a healthy mindset when I say this, is we're very selective of who we keep around and how often we change them. You know, there needs to be clear cut, obvious reasons, significant reasons to either add someone to your life, your circle, or to remove someone from your circle. So what I mean by that is a man who's always around new people, referring to people they've only known for a year as their brother, killing relationships for brotherhoods that they've had for 10 years for like the slightest of reasons, like, excuse me for this, but some female type reasons, that shows a lot about a man who he decides to bring on board to his life, and who he decides to kick off the boat. And see, for me, I personally think it should only shrink, when you're 15 years old and you have a very, a wide range of a social life. And then you start to get older and you start to realize, oh, this is the type of man that I could surround myself with. This is the type of man I can grow with. This is the type of brotherhood I would like to have. As you get older, your 15 close friends turns to 10, turns to 8, turns to 6, turns to 4. And at one point, it might really only get to 1 or 2. And some people, some weak men, they have this tendency to always have a new group of friends. Every year, 2 years, however long, short span of time, they're around new people. These are all of a sudden their closest friends. These are their brothers. And the people that they were close to 5 years ago are nowhere to be found in their life. And this is a reoccurrence. This is a reoccurring theme. And to me, that says a lot about the man in terms of his ability to keep healthy relationships, his ability to think for himself, to be unique, to be strong, to have his own unique identity, and to be able to make good decisions in terms of who he's around. Because, we value our privacy. We value our brotherhood. We value our security. So to always be bringing people to your life, bringing new people around you, and removing people that otherwise you have a very healthy relationship with, you just found a very baby reason to get rid of them. You don't know how to amend any differences. Then that goes to show that, one, you're more on the feminine side. You have female tendencies. 2, you're not a man who's trustworthy. You're not a man that we can go for a long ride together. This isn't somebody I would want to keep around.
Yeah, no. I mean, honestly, the only way that I see somebody changing their friends consistently is if they're changing as a person. So say if they have these type of friends, but they're trying to do better with themselves, and they have to change themselves, and their friends are not, not around that kind of energy that they have, then I could see them changing different friends from time to time. But usually somebody really gets a change in their life every 5 years. So, or every decade, we could say. Every decade, you really change as a person, and you see and as you said, shrinking. If your close friend should be shrinking because you're trying to elevate yourself every single time. And now, if you had the same amount of friends for how many years, and you're doing the same shit that you've been doing since you was 20, and you're now 40, and your life hasn't improved, well, then that tells you a lot about yourself, you know. But at the end of the day, a man who can't keep their relationship with their friends is not a trustworthy person at all, because it tells you something like, why is this person not able to keep a relationship? And it tells you something for the woman too, because if he's not able to keep a relationship with his own friends, how he's going to keep a relationship with you?
And side note too,
Yeah.
men are low maintenance. At least low maintenance more than women are.
Yeah, they
So
want
if he
simple
can't,
things.
yeah, if he can't keep that brotherhood intact with his, day ones, then as a woman you should look at it like, oh, there got to be some type of deficiency. There's a deficit in this man, a gaping hole in his character that it might be a warning sign, an indicator of this isn't a man that you really should want to keep around you and to interact with and to have a long term uh, relationship or friendship with.
Well, I would say it's definitely a warning sign, but don't take it as just, because sometimes it's not that one person's fault for their friends, behaviors or whatever, because the other men in his group could be the same type of men that we're talking about right now. And that's the reason why the friendship subsides. But the people that he keeps around, it tells you how successful he's going to be, tells you how hardworking he's going to be, tells you what type of man he's going to be. Because a person that is for success is not going to hang around a bunch of bums. That's just not going to happen. A person that is faithful to his wife or faithful to his woman is not going to hang around a bunch of cheaters, not going to hang around a bunch of bachelors. A man, because the thing about it, like in society, like men hang around other men that's kind of the similar or in the same kind of, how to say, professional, just of what they are. So like, if you have a very outstanding professional person, they're gonna hang around other professions like, doctors, lawyers, stuff like that. You're not gonna hang around, gangsters and stuff like that. It's not gonna happen. So you gotta see his friend group to see what kind of man he is. Because the thing about it, as your friend group, you have to be able to tolerate those people. And if their friends go against everything that they're saying to you or everything that they stand for, then they're kind of playing a fake facade somewhere there.
Yeah, another thing I want to note too is this idea of, oh, they're just a social person and this is why they could always have new friends and meet new people and vibe with new people. That's actually not a desirable trait.
It's not.
Because what that means is they're very agreeable. And as men, we have a certain level of healthy ego where we don't want to be in an environment always where we just agree with everything and everybody around us. We like to have our little unique stances on, our little viewpoints where it's like, you know what, I don't necessarily see eye to eye with you in a healthy way, a healthy debate, a debate that results in some growth, in some learning moments, some improvement. So a person who is able to always make new friends, while that seems like it's a desirable trait, again, what I'm trying to emphasize is people they keep really close to them. Being able to be cool and friendly with people is its own little category. But being that person who has a new group of everyday friends, these are people that I deal with business wise, personal wise, fun wise, or like they're involved in all aspects of your life. That's a pretty clear warning sign of this person does not have their own individual way of thinking. They do not, think outside the box. They don't stand out from the crowd. They do follow the hype. They are, kind of just a sheep walking through the herd, walking with the herd. And that's not something I want to keep myself around. And I want to make a simple little analogy, a kind of a basketball analogy. This is kind of specific, But just for analogy's sake, we're going to use this analogy. For example, LeBron James, his circle, his close friend group, it goes very far back, and he seems to have a lot of basically he has his shit together. Maybe again this is a very specific example, and he's outlier because he's a lot more disciplined, focused than the average basketball player, the average athlete. But anyway, and then you look at somebody like John Morant, the things that's been going on with him recently, he's not hanging around the same people that really mean well, that have good intentions for him and wish him well and have his best interest in their heart and their mind. He's hanging around with new people. Like you got people that's from the hood posting them up, using them for clout. These aren't people that you grew up around. These aren't people that you
That's
started your journey with. These are just new people. Like you just trying to be down. That just goes to show he doesn't really stand. He's not unique. You could find that type of man anywhere. Yeah, he might be a professional, high level athlete. Cool. Other than that, his personality, his character, his identity as a man is not unique. You could find it anywhere. You could find it in a club. You could find it in the streets. You could find it in a bar. You could find it in the sports book. You could find it anywhere. You could find. He's not hard to find. That type of man is not hard to find. They're everywhere. There's very
And then
lacking man.
you gotta put it like this too. Like you see LeBron James and his peoples that he has around him for all that time. Look at what they're doing now. All of them, business owners.
Each one's elevating the other.
Exactly. Now with John Morant's friends, it's like he's up here and everybody else is down here, and they're just constantly like just bringing him down
He's
a
singing.
notch.
Yeah.
And nobody wants a fucking yes man, bro. Like that's what it is. When you're agreeable, you're a yes man because you don't have any individual thought. So if a person's like friends with everybody, they're kind of fake, bro. Because there's no way. There's no way. They're fake as hell.
You can't be friends with everybody.
You can't be friends with everybody. And if a person has a lot of friends, then it got to be something fake to them, because the people that I see that's the most genuine person, don't really have too much friends, bro. Like they stand on whatever they really believe in, and they don't conform to anything. That's the person I would trust, because at least I could, believe that person. The person that's just agreeable, that's gonna say yes to anything that I say just because he wants to be my friend, is fucking crazy, bro. And I don't want you around me.
Yeah, there's this weird element in our, in our society at this point in time, where it's like, because we might understand about somebody or know, it's not even an opinion. Like we know this person is not friends with everybody, and we don't have a lot of mutual friends, and they're not always in the scene. They're not always around. We might think that this is a reason this is a cause for concern, when it's actually the exact opposite. If somebody is always in the mix, is always around, is always friendly with all types of people from all walks of life, and spends a lot of his time around people and doesn't really focus on himself, that's somebody that you should be worried about. Me, I'll gladly entertain and explore the possibility of building a brotherhood, of forming. I'll gladly welcome and entertain the idea of building a friendship, forming a brotherhood with the type of man that isn't always in the mix, the one that keeps to himself, because I can rely on that person to let me know when I'm wrong. I can rely on that person to stand with me when we see something as a threat or something that bothers us or doesn't align with the way that we want to live. I don't have to worry about them conforming and being weak and giving in to the masses and giving in to the public. I don't have to worry about those things. It's already clear. It already exists within them. That's the reason why they don't just welcome everybody with open arms.
Yeah, and I would say this too. The people who you keep around can also show him a little bit about his finances too, bro, and how his financial aspirations are too. That's another thing you could tell about a man, because a man, I'm sorry to say this, you gotta be a provider, bro. And I'm gonna keep saying this every single time that I get on here about a man. Your natural instinct is to be a provider, so that comes with financial obligations to secure yourself, and the people that he keeps around should show you a little bit about that, about his hustle, about his grind, about what he really wants from his life. And if a man is just comfortable with where he's at, I don't think he's a man that you want to place yourself around, honestly.
Yeah, a lot of the displeasure, the the unrest that a man experiences in his life is this feeling of being stagnant and having no, positive growth, positive change going on in his life. He just, for a 5, 10 year stretch, he's in the same position with the same people, doing the same things, spending his weekends the same way, spending his vacations the same way, whatever case, you guys get the point. And it's because our natural instinct is to always find a way, or to strive at least, for taking that next step. So when you see a man around people that essentially are bums, that don't embrace change, that aren't welcoming improvement into their life and betterment, and don't seek self, education, and don't seek self improvement, then he's probably like them. And it's a sign of, for example, as a lady, at least, if you're looking into this man as a prospect, somebody you're trying to build with, that man is not building anything.
I know. So what kind of house are you going to live in when there's no foundation to even step on? Like you I'm gonna say this. For women, right? I would highly think that your choice for a man should be one that you're investing to your future with. So you got to take a gamble because all men are not the same, but they do have certain traits of ones that are trying to do stuff. So I would say if a man doesn't have it all right now, depending on his age, because age it does play into a thing. If he doesn't have it all right now, at least that regardless of whatever it is, he's gonna try to make it and find a way to get to where it has to be for just to cover things. Because not everybody becomes rich, not everybody becomes successful, but there is people that work in this world that want to hustle to get to where they have to be for the current point in time. So if he doesn't have that hustle in him, if he's just fucking lazy, if he just, doesn't come from work, sits down, and then just doesn't do anything for the rest of the day, doesn't try to, hey, let's think about this, let's talk about doing this. If he has the time to do that, because, some people do work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, whatever have you, just to make ends meet, whatever. But if he has the time and he doesn't make that time to try to, get you guys out the situation or try to get himself out the situation, then that man is just not a man. I'm sorry. Like, there's no man that doesn't want better for himself.
There's no healthy man.
There's no healthy man that doesn't want better for himself.
There's a lot of men out here that don't want shit for themselves. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But that's not a healthy man.
I've seen people that they go to work and they come home and they don't do shit. They don't try to better their physique. They don't try to better, their knowledge, their mind, so that they can get more money or whatever have you. Like, you just don't. I don't know how people could just be satisfied with their life just working for themselves. Because, bro, at the end of the day, as a man, I think that you should be having your own bills, bro. You gotta find something that brings you your own money without somebody saying like, yeah, I'm giving you a check today, and you're gonna keep working for this check every single week, and I'm gonna pay you for 2 weeks, for the 2 weeks that you work every 2 weeks, and you're not gonna want to try to get your own money, bro. I'm not saying it's bad to have a job. It's never bad to have a job. But you do have to find another source of income in today's world, bro. It's a thing that you have to do. Because what is the statistic that, most people don't have? Emergency savings, bro. Anything could happen in your life, bro. And right now, it's kind of hard to save with just one income. So you got to figure out something to do to bring in another income so that you're able to stabilize yourself. That's where it starts from, is having money on the backup just in case some shit happens. And if you're a man and you're working just to pay bills and that's it, and you have a lot of time in your hands to go do other things but choose that foundation. So if you're coming home and working and you're not trying to build some type of foundation saving wise, some shit's gonna fucking happen to you, and you're not gonna have the money to pay for it. So until you stabilize yourself, you can't do nothing. So that tells you a lot about a certain man. Like, I really hate to see people like just be okay with their life, bro. Especially when they're not there yet, and they have all the energy and the capability to do stuff and the potential, and they just choose to be comfortable, bro.
Yeah, just a little note about the financial aspect. Honestly, I think more important than getting the money is being financially responsible, knowing how to spend it, knowing what to do with it.
That's another point,
Because
bro.
if you give a loser $1 million and you give a financially responsible man $1 million, within 5 years, they're gonna have two different lives. And they're gonna have two different results based on what they decided to do with that $1 million. So that's more important than actually getting the money is knowing what to do with it, how to play with it, how to divide it up, how to invest it, how to save it. And being financially responsible.
And also, I'm going to talk about responsibility. Let me just say this, bro. To the men out there, stop giving that woman your money. Stop it, please. You feel what I'm saying? She don't want you. She just wants your money. Okay? There's a lot of men out here that just think because they got some type of money and because they're spending on their woman or whatever, that she's gonna respect you or whatever. No, she just wants you for your money, bro. You feel what I'm saying? A real woman, right? Yes, you can buy her things. Yes, you can, take her out, whatever have you. But if that's all she really wants from you all the time, bro, kind of wasting your money, kind of being irresponsible. Because at the end of the day, I think that's how do I say it's not an investment. That's a complete liability because you're not getting nothing out of that.
I'm glad you brought that up because that does transition us into my next element that I would like to speak on. The next element I would like to speak on about a man's life and what that means about him is their behavior, how they carry themselves and how they deal and how they behave with women.
Yes.
And what they're looking for and what they chase and what's important to them versus what's not important to them. A lot of people out here a lot of men are out here just chasing tail and they don't see how destructive that is to their life, how much that takes away. I mean, I guess they see it if they look, but
Most people are not looking.
they're not looking. Yeah,
They're
you
not
could
looking.
see it if you look, but most people aren't looking.
People go into their temptations, bro, and they don't look for shit. They're blinded by women, bro, and it's crazy. Like, don't get me wrong. We are men. We like women because we're straight. We like women, but you don't make that you don't make that your priority, man. Because I be seeing a lot of people that a lot of men or boys, let's say boys, because real men don't do this.
Yeah, that's a new thing.
Yeah.
Boys.
A lot of boys be doing this. They every weekend, every week, oh, I'm gonna find the next girl. Oh, I gotta hit her up. Oh. But in the process of all of that, where your money at? What you doing to better yourself?
Where your assets at?
Where your assets at, and not the ass, the ETs after that. You feel what I'm saying? The ones that's actually gonna bring you some type of financial gain. You feel what I'm saying? Because the ASS is not gonna do nothing for you. So people don't look for those things. And every single time I see this, routine with these men, boys. I'm so sorry, boys with these boys. It doesn't get them nowhere, bro. It doesn't.
I mean, we know that. We're hoping y'all can figure that out with us.
And you really find that out because, it's usually young men because, get out of puberty and all that other stuff. And, you're of age to do all these things. And then
a little phase.
Hopefully it's a little phase. But then I see some people that's like,
it carries over well into their 30s.
30s, like, bro, in 30s is supposed to be where you're supposed to finalize the start of your next life, where you're supposed to have a family or starting to build for your family and stuff like that. Like chasing women, bro, and that's your priority, but yet you don't have a house, you don't have your own car, you don't even have 10K in your bank account, my boy, or 10K to your name. And 10K is not shit. I'm just going to let you know that right now. But at least that, like, come on, bro. You gotta start prioritizing certain stuff because all these men out here, the top 1%, they're getting flooded with women. And do they really want all of them? No. But they work to themselves and the women attracted to them. Not you chasing after the woman. You're not going to get nothing out of chasing women. Just let you know that right now.
Yeah, something I like to implement in my lifestyle, or hopefully I'm doing a good job at implementing it, is there's this idea nowadays with all these different podcasts. You guys figure out whatever the hell we're talking about right now.
Yes.
But there's this idea that's going around, this kind of narrative that's being pushed that the ability to, or, the action, the behavior of sleeping around as a man is a desirable thing. It's like a flex, whatever. And listen, first of all, that shit is disgusting. One, that just to get that out of the way, like in terms of germs and bacteria and
STDs,
from the health standpoint, that shit is disgusting. Now, from a mental standpoint, the way I see it is, if a lot of women want you, cool, that's a plus.
That's a plus.
But a real man who's disciplined and got his head on right, he's not going around willingly taking I can't get it. I can't wrap my head around it, bro. This idea of people who basically look at hoes as hoes, right? But then they're willing to have that transfer of energy with them. And they think that's a flex. Like, my brother, if you're a high value man and you're giving yourself up to a low value woman in your eyes, in your estimation, right? You see her as a 304. That's what they call them nowadays.
Yeah, 304.
Okay, so you're willing to have that physical exchange, that energy exchange with her. And somehow in your head, you've reached the conclusion that that's brag worthy. Like, come on, my brother. Who won? She was able to have a moment with somebody who's higher value than her. And you stooped down to her level and had that exchange of energy and got intimate with her. You're the sucker, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, a real man knows that it's cool. It's a plus. It is I guess a bragging. I don't even want to say a bragging point, but it says something about you as a man, that you have, desirable traits and desirable tendencies that a lot of women would like to get to know you and like to be with you and like to be around you, right? But to really take that next step and stamp yourself as a certified man, like top G type shit, what you gotta do, bro? You gotta look at these women and see them as all, they don't deserve any part of me. They don't deserve my time, my energy, my focus, let alone the last step, my physical access to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're running the risk of putting yourself in dangers and compromising your position as a high value man for a 304 that you have no respect for.
It's crazy.
Like, come on, my brother, you could do better than that. That ain't brag worthy.
I'm gonna say this, right? And for the contrary, a lot of people might not like me for what I'm gonna say right now.
I don't like you either. Fuck it.
Hey, fuck it. Add no one to the list. But let me say this. As a high value man, right? Let's put it into a sense of a club, right? Even though I don't like clubs, but something that everybody could understand.
It's relatable to the boys out here.
So say if this is a club for valuable, high value people, right? You're the club as a high value man, right? If everybody has access to your club, it doesn't make it valuable, bro. Like, at all. So yeah, it could be a long line of motherfuckers outside waiting to have access to you. But you choose who you're bringing in. And that's what makes it valuable. It's called supply and demand, people. So if your supply is higher than your demand, you're not valuable. So you can't want to give your time and energy to all these different women and thinking that that's okay. No, it's not, bro. Because guess what? Now, out of a whole list of women that you had, all of them probably talk to each other, probably, because I had this with him and I did this with him and I did this and this with him. No. Then you could see these are the only women that you're messing with. Bro, you have no value. Now, if you're picking the best available woman out of those women, that adds to your value because, not everybody can have you. Not everybody could be around you. Not everybody can have your time. So you got to think about that as a high valued man, bro. Like, it's not saying that, you can't have women or whatever you want to do, but just choose the ones that actually mean something, bro.
Yeah, there's this type of fronting going on, this type of false, the people are in disguise, undercover, in terms of what they really want. And the same men who are sitting here pushing this idea that it's cool and it's acceptable and respectable to sleep around with many different women. Let me ask yourself this. When you're in your 30s and 40s as a man, what is the most satisfying feeling? I mean, I haven't gotten there yet, and I hope to get there. But
Yeah.
I can assure you, at this point in my life, the stance is pretty clear. It's only one thing: it's to have a beautiful family with a respectable woman and raise, you know, respectable children and honest children and healthy children and strong-minded children. That have that same strong-mindedness as you do, and that same sense of unique identity as you do. Now, if you're in your 30s and 40s or even late 20s and you're over here bragging about being with different women, that goes to show something about you. Like
You haven't grown up
you haven't grown up
at
and
all.
realized and accepted the fact that the most fulfilling feeling that you're actually gonna get in this world is having a steady family relationship,
Yes.
having a steady family unit. Like, you can't sit here and say like, all these women are A, B, and C, but you only looking for those type of women because a respectable woman, a woman who's deserving of your commitment. You know that you probably not capable of living up to that and honoring that marriage and honoring
Yeah.
that relationship. So what are you doing? You're resorting to just you're
And
resorting
also-
to
I also
just
wanna say
being
this
with
too, bro.
low value women just to get your nut off. Like, shit's weird, bro.
Like, bro, the only fulfillment that you have from dealing with all those different type of women, bro, is a little That's it. All the time. It's just a different every time. Every time that you're done with that other woman, it's just like that's your only fulfillment out of those couple of minutes that you have with her. Like, and you just recycle those minutes every single time. What would be more satisfying? Like having a family that you could wake up to, do things with, and build upon that and have that every single day, or just have wasteless interactions with people, bro. That just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of men out here literally preaching about only a certain type of woman deserves their respect and their commitment and their loyalty and their the treatment that they could give a queen. But you're not even looking for the queen, my brother. You're looking for all these little girls because you're a little boy and you're sitting here trying to disrespect these little girls. Bro, why don't you go find people? Why don't you go find women who don't fit that description? Go look for the one that you keep saying deserves your loyalty and deserves your commitment and deserves to be spoiled by you. Go look for her and then start complaining about the fact that they do or they don't exist. But you're not looking for them. So don't sit here like, it's just, I don't know, it's just very contradictory to me for a man to go around thinking like that's a brag worthy element of their life. For me, that's not a respectable man to me. I'm not doing no business with him. If he can't even keep a woman, you know what I'm saying?
How you gonna keep a business partner, bro?
Like, if he's not responsible with who he sleeps with, who he spends his time with, and he's spending time with people that he sees as useless and have no value, low value, then why the fuck would I respect his opinion on any other aspect of life, any other element, business, just any aspect of life? It's just weird to me. Like, I don't know how that goes together. It's like, I don't know, it confuses me, honestly.
There's one
That's
last
one thing that
thing.
still got me confused.
There's one last thing I do want to talk about, though, but an aspect of a man that could really tell you about everything, bro. And it's honestly the most important, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you, because it kind of helps you understand why he has the friends that he has around, why his finances are not in order, why the type of how he treat women or how he's around women or whatever. It's his mindset, man. That is a huge aspect of life, bro, for a man. And you could tell a lot from a man's mindset and the way how he talks, the way how he presents himself, the way how he moves around in the world. It's a very telltale sign of what that man is gonna be. Because a high value, a high caliber man is not gonna conduct himself in such actions, not going to conduct himself in such a way. Like, he's gonna be presentable at all times. He's gonna speak presentable. So you ain't gonna hear him talk ghetto around certain people or talk a certain way. He's gonna talk polite and whatever have you. His mindset that he's gonna stand or whatever believes, he's not gonna conform to anything, that he truly believes in. And he's just gonna walk around life and just do it in a presentable way and not, embarrass himself, not attract attention for himself. All those things is what a high value man is about, is the way how you keep your mind. Because if you can't keep your mind in check, how are you going to do anything else in order?
Yeah, because going back to what we were just talking about, how they treat themselves with women, that mindset that they have of being able to have access and be with a lot of women, that's already a very unhealthy mindset that they have going on, that a way of life, a mindset that they've kind of just taken and ran with. And that leads to a lot of compromise or leaves for a lot of openings to be compromised later on down the road. Like, think about it like this, especially as a high value man. Why would you risk pregnancy, disease, drama, uh, later on,
Safety.
safety, your privacy? Why would you risk all those things for a girl that you don't see worthy past a one night stand or a little short fling? Like, how could you logically explain? Right, we us as men, we like to use logic for everything. How could you logically reason that you are a man of high caliber, you are a man of high self respect when you're doing shit like that? Like, that's a direct. There's a direct correlation with self respect and how you treat women, how you behave with women. You are not respecting yourself when you're putting yourself in a position to be compromised, to be affected, to be brought down and sunk. A lady could sink you essentially. We know that in this society, especially in this
Not
country, a
especially in
lady
this
could really tear
society,
your
bro.
life up, especially the wrong one. A lady with bad intentions that don't care, no sympathy, no empathy, no compassion. She's just a wild soul. That lady could ruin your life. So why would you open up the door for that possibility for a lady that you don't have no respect for, that you see as just a throwaway? Like, how could you reason after doing such a thing, after giving yourself up, giving physical access to this woman, letting her have access to you? How could you reason to yourself? How could you wake up the next morning and consider yourself a man of high self-respect? Like, it don't go together. Like,
It
how,
doesn't.
how could you say
Doesn't
you're
correlate.
respecting yourself when you're really disrespecting yourself? You're really disrespecting yourself like that. And for women, it's also the same thing. Like, I don't know, they be lying, talking about just so they could get off the idea that having, any body count don't matter. Women out here nowadays will be like, you know what? If a man's able to pull and has a high body count, it's kind of like attractive because it means they are experienced and blah blah blah. Like, be honest. Is that a like? How could you accept a man like that and then expect him not to cheat, not to do no disloyal shit, not to, be, have any shortcomings in his duty, his role as a husband, for example? You know what I'm saying? It's all fucked up from both ends, honestly.
Yeah.
But for the sake of this, episode, this discussion, we want to focus in on the men's aspect, and again, a man who's just chasing tail and allowing all types of women to have access to them, even though they see them, the man will see them as throwaways. You're a sucker too, my brother. Like, it don't go together. I think it's much more brag worthy to know that 100 women
Want
within
me.
my everyday life, like very easily accessible, want me, and I haven't touched none,
None
of
of
them.
them.
Haven't given none of them my time, access to me, know anything about my life. I'm still private. You know what I'm saying? I'm still loyal to my woman. Like, that's something that's brag worthy. You find me a man like that, I can close my eyes and trust him.
Yeah, and do business with him, honestly. Because if he's loyal to his woman, bro, and if he's loyal to his woman and he's in demand, bro, and he doesn't partake in that mindset of
Foolery.
foolery of wanting to be with multiple different women or whatever have you, I could do business with him because I know that he's a trustworthy person for sure. Because if he's able to sustain from a lot of those things, because that's again, temptation is a very big player in certain things, and that will tempt you to do a lot of things when it comes to women, because that's the biggest temptation for men is women. So if you're able to stray away from that temptation and stay loyal to one, bro, everything else in his life has to be, of utmost highest quality. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's a very hard thing for most men to do. We're not saying that it's easy, because a lot of women may want you, and it's kind of hard not to dabble in because you have your temptations as a man. What we're talking about is to build that resistance to the temptation so that you can build more on your character and other things within your life.
Yeah, just to make the analogy a little simpler, put it like this. If that man is going around and looking for the easiest, tail to get, right? And he has no respect for these women, but he's still interacting with them and dealing with them and having fun with them and spending time with them, then best believe this person, if you take them in a serious relationship as a woman or you partner up with them man to man, in a business, they will backdoor you at the drop of a dime.
Yep.
They will find the easiest way to con you, the easiest way to get a one up on you as a business partner. This isn't a man that's going to be honest and stick to the brotherhood code that we like to stick to or we would want to stick to. Like, you can't expect that out of this type of man because naturally, a good man, honestly, there's a certain point in your life where you just wake up and you're like, you know what? It's time for me to settle down and have a family. And if they ain't get there yet, they still got a lot of self-growth and a lot of, I guess I would like to use the word patching to do in their life. You know what I'm saying? They still got a lot of open wounds. They don't got their head on right. They really don't got their priorities straight. Like, cool, you could be rich and you could be cool and you could be high value. But listen, brother, you don't got a wife and kids that you're loyal to and that you dedicate your life to. You're not really worth anything. You're not, to me, in my estimation, you're not of value. You don't hold no significance. You're just the same as a sheep. You just got a little bit more money. Big fucking whoop. You know what I'm saying? But you're not honorable. You're not respectable. You're not a person who's a pleasure to deal with.
Yeah, and I mean,
wouldn't want you around me.
this world is portraying that those things are a plus when actually in reality it's kind of a negative because if we don't have people that make it a stink to want to have a family, want to have providing different values that make sense towards your family and stuff like that to carry on, we're gonna have a bunch of generations of people that are low quality people, man. It sucks, but
it's only getting worse and worse. And hopefully, with the discussion we had today, somebody could take something away from it. They could look at them themselves. You know what I'm saying? Stop opening yourself up for diseases. Stop opening yourself up for, ways of being compromised, ways of being destroyed, ways of being
just
tarnished.
stop opening up yourself to
Me
bullshit.
as a man, if I was to deal with a low quality woman that I know is worthless to me and I don't want to keep her around, and then later on down the road, after I decided to still interact with her, she comes back to haunt me some way, I don't got nobody to blame but myself because when I dealt with her, I knew this wasn't a person that I wanted to keep around, and I still decided to do it
anyway.
right. So what does that mean? That means I deserve it.
Yep, it bit you right in your motherfucking ass. But this has been another episode of the Just a Know. This has been another episode of the Just a Know podcast where we make knowledge your strongest weapon. Men, keep your goddamn mind in check and in order. And stop letting all these goddamn temptations stop you from your goals and whatever you want to do for your life. Because I'm telling you right now, that fucking comes first and everything else comes second.
Let us know in the comments, like, subscribe. Let us know in the comments what type of useless girl ruined your life so we can laugh at you together. let us know, women, what type of useless man that you gave your all to that didn't deserve it. Let's have some fun in the comments. Talk shit to me, talk shit to him.
Yeah, and also follow us on all of the podcasts, whether it be Spotify, Amazon Music, or Apple Podcasts. Guys, have a good day.
As always, a pleasure to have you guys. God bless. Peace.
Peace.